What's up, you guys? James here, and in this video, I just want to touch on a subject that I think is super important, especially in today's social media driven world, and that is the difference between looking rich and actually building wealth. Before we get into the topic, guys, please do me a quick favor, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Especially early on in our YouTube journey together, it's really important to get that engagement on every single video. So I just want to take a second. Thank you guys for everyone who's done that. Jumping right into it. It's 2020 and you can't open up your phone without seeing an image of what success looks like to someone. And I don't know about you, but a lot of the pages that I follow, one of the biggest commonalities is expensive home, expensive car, high maintenance looking girlfriend, eating extravagant dinners, all these things that, many poor people are bombarded with every single day and see, the rap music, everything that they talk about, and they see all these different things that they see as wealth or that these people talk about and represent as wealth, but are in reality just people trying to look rich. And even in the rap community, a lot of these guys that you see with the chains and all this stuff, the record label just gives them those chains to look rich and to sell what it is to be rich. And it really pollutes, young minds the same way that women are polluted with unrealistic body expectations from these airbrushed models. Men and women are polluted with these unrealistic expectations of what it actually looks like to be rich. And, for me, I know quite a few very successful millionaires. And trust me, most of them don't drive Lamborghinis. Most of them drive a Ford F-150 and work in construction. You don't have to be Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs or Elon Musk in order to become a millionaire. You really don't. You just need to be willing to make some sacrifices and to kind of retailer what you think of as wealth or riches. So I just want to touch on a couple of things that are perhaps keeping you from becoming a millionaire and why it's so important to just ditch them and ditch anybody that you know that associates those things. When we're looking at being rich or being wealthy, the differences are this. Wealth, when I think of wealth, I think of an asset that pays for itself or makes you money. When I think of riches, I think of a liability that depreciates in value as soon as you get it and only depreciates over time. So an example of something that a rich person would maybe buy would be a brand new Audi, okay? They buy it brand new. As soon as they drive it off the lot, it loses 25% of its value. And over the course of the next year, it loses another 20% of its value. And in 2 years from now, you've lost pretty much half of your investment for what? So that you could look rich, so that you could drive this Audi and impress people that you surround yourself with? Well, maybe that's a big part of the problem. Maybe the reason why we feel the need to buy these things to feel rich is because we associate ourselves with people who value looking rich rather than value, assets and building wealth. And I think for me, the biggest transition in my life came when I started to really take a look at who I'm associating with, take a look at what these people value, and started to realize that it really didn't line up with my own. I remember at the time too, I was putting out this image of myself. I worked in a high-end luxury environment and I got to do a lot of cool things and drive a lot of cool cars. And so my Instagram was just me at these expensive dinners with these expensive cars or at these expensive houses. And it created this really high expectation of what I had to bring to the table in every single environment. When I was hanging out with my friends, I wasn't just James. I was James, the rich, successful guy. But in reality, I wasn't really making a whole lot of money at the time. And, when I was going on a date, it was never a question of, oh, is this guy going to pay for me? It was a question of course this guy's going to pay for me. He's rich. This is who he's representing himself as. It would be weird if he didn't pay for me. So by fronting like you're rich and by fronting like you have all this money and by spending your money leasing a nice apartment and a nice car, you're doing a number of things. You're setting an expectation of yourself that is unrealistic. 2, you're incurring a much larger debt-to-income ratio. And that's the most important fact that I really want to zero in on is your debt-to-income ratio. Now, when you do finally put your big boy pants on and you stop caring about looking rich and you decide, hey, I want to buy a house and break free from my 9 to 5 the way James has and become a millionaire, Well, here's what's going to happen. The bank is going to take a look at your earnings and they're going to say, okay, well, you make $5,000 a month. That's pretty good, $60,000 a year. However, your apartment costs $1,700 a month and you're leasing a car that costs $600 a month. And well, your food costs about, $300 or $400 a month. And when it's all said and done, you have maybe $400 left over. And when you really look at this, it's like, okay, well, banks are going to look at your debt to income ratio and they're going to give you a loan based on how much they think you can afford to pay. They don't really care about, your plans for filling this house with renters and this and that. No one cares about that. They want to know, can you afford to pay for this house, assuming you don't get any renters? Will your income cover that? And when you spend your life trying to look rich, when you have this big car payment and you're locked into a year-long lease in an apartment and, it's expensive, you're never going to get approved for this loan. Even if you have good credit, they're going to look at your debt to income and they're going to give you a much smaller loan than you can actually afford to pay for. And it's going to really, really put the brakes on your plans for investing. And honestly, it could prevent you from ever becoming successful because you wanted to look rich today. And, in 20 years from now, you're going to be in either the exact same position or a worse off position because you've been spinning your wheels. So I know this may be a hard reality check for some people. I know for a lot of you guys out there, you might think, oh man, forget what this guy has to say. I want to get my nice car because I can afford it, and this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Hey man, I thought the same thing. Here I am, 28 years old. This is what I would be telling my 18-year-old self. I'm a millionaire now. I spent a long time trying to get to where I am and spinning my wheels and not getting any traction. And this is the information that you're missing. This is the information that you need before you even think about buying a home. This is the person you need to become mentally. And it's not an easy journey. There's a lot of times where your friends are going out to the bar and you decide to stay home because you want to save money. You'd rather stay home and watch Netflix and, not blow $100 on a night. And if that's you, I just want to let you know, hey man, you're not alone. We're in this together. The sacrifices don't have to be made alone. And I want to turn this time over to you guys. Make a comment down below. Let me know something that you spent your money on that you don't feel is you trying to look rich, but is actually helping you get to that next step in building wealth. Hope you guys found some value in this. Take a moment, like and subscribe to this channel. Be well.